Hello, this is Alice. I am a PhD candidate at the UNSW School of Education. I'm also a teacher at the business school. I want to start this presentation by acknowledging the Badigal people, the other traditional custodians of this land. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders past and present, and extend the respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who are present here today. I'm introducing you the project I did last year with a title of University Preparation Programs for International Commerce Students, Student Perceptions of Two Dominant Pathway Programs in Australia. In this presentation, I will present you with the background of the study, the two dominant pathway programs in New South Wales, which are High School Certificate and Foundation Studies. And I will discuss later's research map as the theoretical framework of the study. Then, I will present you with the methodology, results, and discussion of the project, followed by a recommendation for the future research. I became interested in researching international students' perceptions of university pathway programs in Australia because I am an international student who was admitted to one of the leading universities in Australia through its Foundation Studies program. I studied in the Commerce stream in Foundation Studies and then undertook a degree in Education Commerce by UNSW. Even though I'm now a trained secondary school teacher in the HSC faculty and have some knowledge about how HSC works, I did not take the HSC myself. Therefore, I'm interested to see how different these two pathway programs work regarding the level of preparation they contribute to university entrance. So according to the OECD, the number of overseas tertiary students expanded to 5.6 million in 2018, more than twice the number in 2005. And the internationalization of higher education has also impacted Australian higher education significantly, with a substantial number of international students commencing their tertiary education in Australia in recent years. According to the Department of Education, Skills and Employment, there were more than 147,000 overseas students studying in higher education institutions in NSW, compared to roughly 336,000 domestic students in 2018. In other words, international students account for approximately 40% of the total population of university students in NSW. Besides, Australia is a country with a long history of international higher education, and such history began in 1951 with Colombo Plan in place. The Australian government funded many international students from developing countries to come to Australia for their tertiary education. Then the second wave of international student enrollment occurred in the 1960s due to the Herbert-Opperman's reform. During this period, international students reported that they were able to build strong links between their countries and Australia. Therefore, they regarded their learning experiences very positively. The third wave of international enrollment started from the 1990s. In contrast to international students' experiences in the second wave, these students began complaining about the inadequate support they were receiving, leading to a diminished learning experiences. Some policymakers attribute this phenomenon to the Dawkins reforms, where colleges rushed to export their services to overseas students, that international education was overly commercialized. In the early 2000s, the number of international students in Australia substantially increased. In 2008, Bradley's review highlighted the need for higher education institutions to promote a high quality student experience. Until the COVID pandemic, approximately 90% of international students consistently consider their higher education experience as satisfactory. However, recent studies suggested that there was a variation in academic performance between those university students who completed high school certificate and those who completed foundation studies prior to entry. And first-year international students' transition from secondary school to university is not always smooth, but their dropout rate remains relatively high. However, there has been little research into international commerce students' perceptions about the preparation they received and how it affects their achievement at university. So this study addressed this research gap by exploring international commerce students' learning experiences and perspectives about HSC and foundation studies at one leading Australian university. Thus, this study is helping to contribute to an important area of the research, which impacts on Australian studies as an international education provider, and at the same time improving understanding of university preparation programs at one university, which might help the prospective students select a more suitable pathway to tertiary education for them. So, the high school certificate, that is HSC, and foundation studies are the most common and direct pathways to prepare students for universities in our state. And booster preparation courses gave international students pathway to all undergraduate programs in universities, including high-demand degrees such as commerce. So I have summarized some of the main similarities and differences of these two programs in this chart. As shown here, the available subjects are different. In HSC, students can choose the courses they are interested in, as long as they satisfy the HSC requirement, whereas foundation study programs is a set of programs which includes courses that are directly related to commerce degree. Also, the program duration and the reporting systems are also different. Given that there has been little research into international commerce students' perceptions about the preparation they received and how it affects their achievement at university, my study aims to address this literature gap by exploring international commerce students' learning experience and perspectives about HSC and foundation studies at the University of New South Wales. To this end, I addressed the following research question. First, how well do first-year international commerce students at university think their preparation programs prepared for them? Second, what changes do students think are needed for their preparation programs to better support them for their university study? A theoretical framework is needed in this study because it allows the analysis of both success and failure. After exploring a number of approaches, I decided to adopt the latest realistic approach, as it is the most suitable conceptual framework for study looking at social phenomenon at multiple levels. Latest layered model of society links macro phenomenon to micro interaction and behavior through a research map, which consists of 4 levels of social organizations, that is, self, associated activity, setting, and context. Latest map helped me identify and summarize the factors influencing international students' perceptions of the university the pathway programs to enable a better understanding of their transition process. Latest K constructs or layers are interpreted in the context of the study of university preparation. In this project, context is the macro context that includes economic situations and political conditions, such as government policies. Setting refers to the institution or immediate environment where international students receive the preparation for university, that is foundation studies and high school certificate. It encompasses institutional settings, that is the subject content, skills, and language practices embedded in the curriculum. It also includes learning communities, which involves interpersonal and collaborative relationships between international students and social agents such as teachers and peers in particular institutional settings. Situated activity is the interaction between international students and the contextual resources, including social agents in their pathway programs. Self refers to students' demographics and prior learning experiences. It also includes international students' motivations and attitudes, and also their skills and competence to adapt to the learning environment and process. I employed a mixed method design, which involves collecting and analyzing both qualitative and quantitative data across the stages of this project. Quantitative data gathered from the questionnaire captures how well international commerce students think their pathway programs prepare them for university in different aspects. There were approximately 40 questions included in the questionnaire, 2 of which were open-ended questions. Open-ended question at the end of the questionnaire provided additional qualitative data, so it enabled me to formulate the focus group interviews while using students' questionnaire responses as a reference. Qualitative data gathered via focus group interviews helped me understand where the programs need improvement and why. These participants were selected from students who completed the questionnaire and gave their consent to participate in follow-up interviews. Each focus group discussion took about an hour to finish, and the students' responses were transcribed with their permission. A thematic approach to data analysis following latest research map was chosen, achieving through content analysis and data coding. For instance, initial coding, such as writing skills, oral English, and referencing, were further categorized as English language. Then comparisons were made across and among groups to examine the similarities and major differences in students' perceptions of the preparation program they finished to develop categories and identify recurring patterns through all the focus group interviews. Now, I will briefly talk about the results of this project with discussion. These results from the questionnaire were affirmed and extended by focus group participants. With respect to the foundation study programs, students in commerce stream are able to study more subjects in their discipline, making it easier for them to transition to university and achieve better performance. However, in other aspects, such as English language preparation, participants suggested that their writing skills improved a lot during foundation studies, but not their oral English. This is because many international students in foundation study programs were hesitant to communicate fully in English, and they tended to use their mother language after school. This shortcoming of undertaking foundation study programs is seen by the participants as one of the advantages of attending HSC. During the high school certificate, international students can choose to take ESL as their English subject, which is claimed to be very useful in helping international students develop their English skills. Moreover, local high schools provide international students with a language learning environment where our students are using English as the medium to communicate and stimulates the improvement of English language proficiency. Thus, it is more probable that international students will encounter fewer language barriers when they start their freshman year at university. In addition, on the context level, it is found that the focus group participants who undertook HSC regarded the EALD subject, which is a course specifically designed for ESL students with NASA, to be positive and supportive for their learning and growth. This result reinforces previous literature, which claims that EALD teachers can make use of various syllabus frameworks to tailor their pedagogical practices according to students' language and literacy needs. Moreover, results of my study reinforced that the self-level can influence students' behaviors on the setting and situated activity level. For example, a participant noted that she was motivated to attend consultations frequently during foundation study programs, since she would like to get additional feedback from teachers that she could perform better in her assessment and get into university. Therefore, it is apparent that her motivation on the self level is influencing her behavior and interactions on the setting and situated activity level. In addition, previous studies suggested that increasing peer interactions can help students become more independent in their learning and enable them to reduce their reliance on academic stuff. Therefore, it is reasonable to say that international students' choice and capacity to build connections with new friends and learn from each other in a new learning environment can impact first-year preparation. In my study, it is highlighted by participants that it is a personal choice students can make to reach out to new friends and support each other with their study. Therefore, student motivations on the self level are shaping their interactions with peers on the setting and situated activity level. Furthermore, in contrast to SHRED, which indicates that female and mature age students tend to have a better performance at university, gender and age in the study did not seem to be significant discriminators of international students' academic achievements at universities. Regardless of gender, a high percentage of students scored a distinction average, although a larger proportion of female students achieved high distinction than their male counterparts. However, there were only a limited number of mature age students participating in this study, and such a small sample size could be a potential limitation which may lead to different results to findings reported by SHRED. Lastly, despite I attempted to ensure that all investigations were well planned and executed, several limitations are apparent, and some limitations can capture future researchers' interest and attention. First, it is difficult to make generalizations about the findings of this study given the small sample size. Second, this research study only targeted first-year international commerce students at UNSW and did not look at how the preparation they received in pathway programs might influence their performance across their undergraduate degrees at different universities. Therefore, to get a deeper understanding of this subject matter, a longitudinal study might be needed. Last, not all international students received sufficient feedback from their teachers in the pathway programs, and feedback is important for students to improve. Therefore, studies are needed to research feedback strategies and investigate how teachers can give more constructive feedback in ways that promote learners' agency. To be more specific, how to provide feedback effectively to scaffold students in solving their own problems and reflecting on their work to achieve their learning goals. So here are my references. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions or feedback will be appreciated. Thank you.